because it's got the flange, okay? So basically, this is the inside of the window, okay? And you've got these flanges that you nail into, okay? So that this window then slide up or down. When you go out on the job site after they put the windows in, you're going to want to make sure you open the window and make sure it slides, because those guys aren't that smart. And they put those studs and king studs, and they're not straight, and they nail this to one side, then they rack it, okay? And once it racks, it gets like a parallelogram, then it doesn't slide up or down as easy anymore, okay? So they basically screw in or nail in through here, okay? The siding will then come into the side here and die in. But before they do that, they're going to flash it. And what flashing they do is they take, stay, don't fall. So in section, where's my section at? So here is going to be plastic, 4 to 6 inches up from the window, okay? The more the better. Sometimes you get them at 8, 12. I like to go 12, 24 inches. I don't care. It's plastic. It's a plastic bag. It's nothing special, okay? And I wrap it all the way up and I tack it in. Does that make sense to everybody so far? So what winds up happening is I'm creating a thing where the wind and water can't get into it. So I've got my plastic that's wrapped like that. This is my double header. My siding, okay, it's going up. Or, I mean my exterior sheathing. Okay. And then the window comes in and that flange sits like that, jumps out a little bit, does whatever, so that my siding can come in like that. Does that make sense? So when the wind comes in and drives the rain, even if it gets up under here, it can't go anywhere because this is plastic all the way wrapped. So it can't get to the wood. So the key component isn't the wrapping of the plastic, it's the corners. That's what they never tape the corners. What's the point of the flashing if I got a gap on either corner? Okay, they did that at my house and it flooded all the way down the wall and underneath the tub. So now I got to go in and rip all that out, repair all of that because some idiot didn't put flashing in. Couldn't believe it. Tore up everything. All right, so back to our thing here. So then you put these little guys in to support the sill. This now becomes the rough opening, or this becomes the rough opening. Okay? Now, when you're putting windows in, it's very important that you detail it correctly, because if you detail it incorrectly, okay, then you're going to look really, really bad and you're going to lose credibility. Okay? The outside of the window is always outward. So when the rain comes down, it doesn't get a chance to puddle right here and come in the house. Okay? Again, contractors aren't that smart. You need to make sure they do it right. Because if they don't, you got a problem. So you see this window, rain hits it, comes down, goes in the screen. If you've ever seen inside these screens, it's nasty. It's because the sun never gets in there and the mold grows because it's hot and humid. If we reversed it, rain hit, come down, eventually this seal will eventually let the water in if enough of it piles up and can destroy, come on, obviously the inside of your house. So you want to make sure that you don't do that. Okay? Because the contractor will laugh at you. I don't know, I may have done it once or twice, not thinking. Okay? So go slow. So that's windows. What else we got? Windows come in multiple materials. Typically, around here, you've got vinyl. Okay, that wood is basically covered in vinyl, or a straight up piece of vinyl. Okay, so wood covered in vinyl. is a composite window because it's two materials. Okay. And then straight up vinyl. Right? And then you got your aluminum window. And then you have your wood window. Which is the best?
I go with the composite.
Vinyl, composite,
Combination.
vinyl, what else? Nobody's going for metal? Why? Why aluminum? Doesn't rust, right? Problem with aluminum is it's not very good as an insulating property, but aluminum withstands all of the weather. Okay, it's very durable, but it's also very cold in the wintertime. A vinyl window, vinyl breaks down through the ultraviolet light of the sun, so they're more expensive over the long haul because you got to replace them. Same thing with the wood. Okay, vinyl and vinyl coated wood will control the expansion and contraction of the vinyl to some extent, so they last longer. Okay, as opposed to a straight up vinyl, because this has got air inside it. It starts expanding and contracting. That's what's breaking it down, along with the ultraviolet plastic, of the sun. And then you have the wood window, which nobody said, right? Because it would rot, right? But if wood is prepped and primed and taken care of, they last longer than any of them. Okay? But you got to paint them. That's the problem. Nobody likes painting them. My choice, I go with an aluminum. No, stay away from aluminum. Because I have that now and they're horrible. Because those are the ones with the damn springs in them. Pop. I choose a wood vinyl wrap window if I had a choice. Okay. Okay. So now we're down to glazing. Okay. What's glazing?
Like donuts.
Like donuts?
It goes on the outside to control the heat that comes in and out.
No.
Okay.
It's for glass. Okay? It's not for glass. It is glass. Okay? There's a difference. A glass is what you drink out of. Okay? Molten sand is glass. Okay? Glazing is made up of glass. Okay? It's the glass material that creates the view of the window, if you will, the transparent part of the window, or opacity of the window. Does that make sense to everybody? Mm-hmm. So from now on, we're going to refer to that as glazing, not as
Glass.
right. Just like we refer to toilets as
Water.
water closets, right? And we refer to hot water heaters as okay. It's not a hot water heater. You don't heat hot water.
It's just a water heater.
It's just a water heater, exactly. Wow. I was just trying to trip you up. It worked. Better for me to trip you up like that than to trip you up on a test, right? At least that's what I think. Okay, so now we'll get into what you guys were kind of alluding to about controlling the transfer of heat between an interior space and an exterior space. All right? That's usually done with some kind of an inert gas, okay? It's usually argon, although they're getting into other chemicals that seem to do it better. But basically, if you've ever seen those cloudy windows in my 1980s style homes, you all seen them, right? Mm-hmm. That window has flexed so much over time, usually through the hurricanes, that the seal breaks and the argon gas escapes. And when it escapes, it allows moisture to come in. When the moisture gets in there and it sits there, it mixes with the rest of whatever residual argon gas is on the wall, on the window, on the inside, and creates this milky substance. Okay? And I've known people who take the glass out, separate the glass, scrape the white stuff off of it, put the glass back together, put it back in the window. That's a lot of work, although it's much cheaper than replacing the window. But also slamming them, okay? That does not do well for the glass and the argon gas that's inside it. So you want to make sure that you have for energy efficiency or low emisticity. Okay, because I can say that word 5 times straight. It's going to control the heat gain or loss between a space. Okay. Nobody liked my whatever I just said?
Emisticity.
Yeah. Heat gain loss of a window graphic. Okay, so this is what we're talking about. I was hoping they would have a graphic that showed you the, yeah, there we go. Okay, so this is your wall with your window on it for this house. This is before they changed out the windows. This is after. This is all heat loss. Okay? And you can see how putting the right window and door in can really control your energy consumption. See if I have another one. Oh man, I'm losing it now.
What kind of windows do you want? I'm sorry.
What type do I like?
Well, yeah, for the heat or I'm not sure.
Oh, low E. Yeah. Like what? Low E is what?
Prevents loss of heat.
Yeah, you can think of it that way. Okay. Here's an example of a house. Okay. And you can see the heat and at the various times of the day where you get your heat loss. So here's an example of an actual window heat loss. Okay, so typically R values for windows are 2 to 3. So an R value of 2 and R value of 3. Your insulated walls are usually R14 or R39 or 29 or 25 for ceilings and stuff like that. All right. So you can see that the windows have very little insulation property. Okay, insulative property. All right, so the industry kept looking at it, and they came up with basically putting a coating of metal oxide on it. These are what they call solar gain or solar loss windows. Your car windows are solar protected, and they help bring it up a little bit, but not much. I mean, really, you put a hole in a window, you know, or you try and take a thing that's this thick and make it this thick. It's not gonna control the loss of heat or gain of heat. What is what creates the insulation value, the material or the air? The air. So the more air you can put in a wall, the better its insulative properties become. That's why you have fiberglass insulation, because it's got a lot of air pockets, and those air pockets prevent heat or cold from transferring between the two spaces. Okay. So they put these, they created these encapsulated membranes, which is basically 2 thin sheets of polyester strapped to the window, and they were able to get the R values up to about 8. But you can see, not much luck with it. The old gas was called argon. The new gas they're trying to use is krypton. So there's kind of, 2 schools of thought on it right now. Okay, but basically, they create the dead space between the windows, the 2 panes of glass. That's how you have a double pane glass. And they inject the gas in there, and it's supposed to prevent the transfer of hot or cold.
Don't save.
Huh?
Don't save whatever you're doing.
Oh, I didn't have the AutoCAD files, but thank you. Thank you. I'm just trying to get to the wrap up on the Windows stuff. All right, so we covered all of that. We talked about sashes. Oh, lights are locked in place with what they call muttons. Good thing I looked at this. So those little white grid things are called muttons. Not mittens, muttons. All right. Look, even Word doesn't know what elasticity is. And I did not make that word up. Encapsulated and so on. All right. So we'll draw some windows and some doors when you guys come back on Thursday. But basically, when you draw a window, for those who want to move ahead, you have your wall. Let's come.
How do we know how wide to make windows? Can we just do it with
I was supposed to get that for you, and I did not. So you're kind of holding in a holding pattern on that window schedule.
Doors.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's okay if you did. Oh yeah, we gotta talk about window sizes. All right, so you have this thing, it's basically coming across like this. This would be your wall. Okay, wherever your window is, you just draw two perpendicular lines, and then you put right in the middle a parallel line. Okay, that's the simplest way to draw windows. Okay, windows come in obviously multiple sizes, but your standard sizes are going to be on half foot increments. So usually 2 feet. This is a 2-foot window. It's getting kind of small for in terms of passing light because of all the stuff going on with the frame and all that. Okay, but you go 2, and then you get them 2, 3, 2, whatever, and it moves on up. But I try and stick with 2 foot, 2'6", that kind of stuff. When you draw your window in elevation, okay, so you've got this window box, which is going to represent the outside edge of your window. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. Then you're going to have a framing system. Everybody got that? Mm-hmm. So that's this piece right here. Okay? And then you're going to have all of this mess. Okay? This mess terminates at the midpoint and goes behind this. And when you're on the inside of the house, on the outside of the house, this particular window actually hides it with a bar, but on the outside, this stuff would terminate right here because this bar is this bar right here. Okay? So where it shows up. So outside windows, if you're looking at this window on the outside, you're going to see the straight line across and this doing this. Okay? And then the regular window down below. Because if you look at this in section, I've got this piece, which is this piece right here. Okay? And then this piece is the actual piece for the window, and it drops down, right? Mm-hmm. Very simple window. And then on the inside, assuming this is in, out, I've got this piece, right? Because we don't want the water to come in, right? Okay, good. Okay, and then the rest of my box, okay, for my frame for this thing, okay? So, when I'm looking at this, okay, this I'm looking at right now is inside. Everybody see that? Mm-hmm. Because I'm seeing this and this, yes? And this window dies behind it. Everybody got that? Mm-hmm. So if I'm doing an outside window, I take this part out, and it becomes like that. Everybody see that? Mm-hmm. You understand that? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, and then whatever lights and all that stuff that we need to get. We'll talk more about that on Thursday. Hopefully traffic won't be as bad. So we basically wrapped up window schedules. Almost, I forgot door schedules last time. Now I forget window schedules. Getting old, man. Getting old. Is this a door and window schedule?